How to manage resistant employees even when you're a new manager? As a manager, you are here to make sure your team fulfill its goals and responsibilities. This includes adapting to changes and giving your employees the necessary feedback so they can improve. But what if you're a new manager and have to work with very resistant employees who might be on the team longer than you or even have more years of working experience than you? They undermine your ability, don't like changes, or agree with any of your feedback. How can you get these very resistant employees on board with your idea and vision? How do you get them to be more open to changes and feedback from you? In this video, we will break down the 2 reasons why employees are resistant to changes and feedback, and give you 4 tips on how to get them on board with your idea and vision, even when you're a new manager. Okay, let's dive right in with the 2 reasons why employees resist changes. Number 1, fear of the unknown. This is a fundamental, deep-rooted fear that we all experience to some degree, and it's totally natural because, as humans, we want to be in control of our own lives. Because changes come with uncertainty, so we feel that we can't control what we don't know or are not familiar with. Most of us overcome this fear by weighting the cost and benefit of staying where we are versus embracing the unknown and getting out of our comfort zones. If you want to really convince employees on taking the latter, you have to show them that the benefit does outweigh the cost and provide them a safe environment to make the transition. We'll get to how you can provide resistant employees a safe environment later in this video in the 4th tip. Number 2. Fear of losing the authority status. It takes many years for people to develop competency in a certain area. But once they do, they gain an authority status that fuels their confidence and success. By having an authority status, people feel good about the things they do, and that matters a lot. When people are given less than favorable feedback or being asked to change, they start questioning their competency and fear that they might lose their authority status. Changes also open some old wounds for a lot of people because it reminds them of the pain, sweat, and tears it took to become good at something they're really proud of. Because of these 2 fears, no matter how necessary changes and feedback are, employees will always be hesitant to adopt. So what can you do to help? Here are our 4 tips. Number 1. Acknowledge their fears. You know these fears are legitimate, so instead of glossing over them or telling employees to just get over it, you should acknowledge their fears by letting them know you understand where they are coming and why they're hesitant to changes. Relate to their fears by sharing any personal story you may have on embracing changes. When they feel acknowledged, heard, and understood, they are a lot more open to hear you out on why the changes you propose or feedback you give are necessary. Number 2, provide them the why. When you acknowledge and share your employees' feelings, you establish trust. Trust is important in any relationship, especially when you are new. If trust appeals to people's emotion, then reason appeals to their logic. Before telling people the what and the how, first provide them with the why. Most people don't like to be told what to do. Instead, you inspire them to take action with a big why. When your reason is big and compelling enough, and people trust you, they will come up with ideas and solutions to help you on their own. Providing people with a big why will also help them weight the cost and benefit of adopting the changes and feedback you propose. Number 3, involve them in crafting of a solution. So you want people to change the way they are doing something right now, and you know that giving them your own solution and direct feedback does not work. These employees are extremely resistant because they have been doing the same thing for years, making it hard for them to change. You acknowledge and accept that, making your employees feel understood. And now, they also know why and where you're coming from with your proposed changes and feedback. Although you might already have a solution, let your employees come up with their own solution to help you. Why? Because people are least resistant to their own ideas. Now, if their ideas are far from the solution you want to implement, there are 2 things you can do. Number 1. See if there is any merit in their ideas and how you can incorporate them in the solution you want to implement. Your employees might surprise you with a few good ideas you didn't think of yourself. Number 2, if there is no merit, don't immediately shoot down or discredit any idea. You always want people to feel heard. You do this by asking questions. Ask them to elaborate. Ask them why they think their idea will work. Ask them what-if questions to help them discover all the blind spots. By doing these 2 things, you strengthen your team's solution, increase buy-in and compliance, and most importantly, make your employees feel valued, heard, and understood. Number 4. Make sure they feel safe with the adoption and transition to change. One last barrier that keeps employees from adopting new changes is that they don't feel safe doing so. They think they may not have the required skill or competency to successfully carry out the new idea or solution. This is when another fear kicks in: fear of failure. So how can you help resistant employees get over this fear? By validating and reassuring. You validate their skill sets because we are always our harshest critics and the mind needs proof. So highlight their past accomplishments and explain to them how all the skills that got them this far are totally transferable. There might be new skills they need to learn along the way to adapt to the new changes. But just because something is new doesn't mean they are not capable of doing it. Provide them the proofs that they've done it in the past, and many who are just like them did it and are now enjoying the rewards. But what if they fail or the new idea doesn't work out? Failure is a real possibility with anything we do in life. This is when they look to you for assurance and reassurance. You assure that failing is not the end of the world. Show them some backup plans if this new idea doesn't work out. When living in a world where change is the only constant, you reiterate how the benefit will outweigh the cost if it does work out. Be straightforward about the chance of failing and how it can be a good thing because the entire team can learn from it and will be able to move forward faster in a safe and controlled environment. You create this environment for them by validating their skill sets. Show them proofs that they can do it. Assure that failing is not the end of the world, and reassure with backup plans and how the team can move forward better by having this experience. If you want to further improve your leadership and relationships with your employees, stay tuned for our next video on how you can be a better leader for your team. See you there!